Notorious B.I.G.'s debut album, Ready to Die, was finally released to a hungry audience on the 13th of September 1994. It went straight to the top of the rap charts. Big's life would never be the same again.
The first thing I noticed about Biggie when he came in was that there was nothing awkward about him, you know, that he was like incredibly slick, you know. And even though this was like the beginning of his career, I think he knew early on that he was a star, and he carried himself like a star. And then I just watched him blow up, you know, through the year that his record came out. I mean, it was a stratospheric shot to stardom for him because he was exceptional, and because Puffy was exceptional at marketing him.
He had the song on Ready to Die, on the album Ready to Die, Everyday Struggle.
Oh God.
I mean, that song just like, I mean, it's just, yeah, he put you right there with him, and you just keep playing it back, and you hear something new. And Big like, oh man, listen to what he said. You know, it's just like, when you look at Big, you be like, dang, he look like a quiet little funny dude, and just, you know, but when he opens his mouth and he spits, it's just.
He created imagery in your head. You know, it's like, for me, I was lucky to be able to look at him do his thing on the microphone. But to watch him stand at the microphone was not nearly as interesting as just being able to close your eyes and just feel the beat and let your head nod and let the story roll into your consciousness, you know, like a joint, you know? It was like, that's what it was like. It was a blunted experience to listen to Biggie, you know, and he took you to another place.
Ready to Die is probably the most complete rap album ever made. The range of emotion and depth is astounding. From the audacious display of thievery in Gimme the Loot to the pure pimpery of Big Poppa, the album starts strong and ends even stronger. Rounding out with the back in the days tale of Juicy, each track has a story to tell that is intricate and complex, dealing with a range of emotions.
I don't think that there is any young or experienced rapper out there that has not cut his teeth on listening to Ready to Die like 2,000 times at least. You know, that's how I would sum it up. It's like the Bible of hip-hop music, you know?
Biggie was a great lyricist, taking rapping to the point of an art form. He could flow through each line with great speed and still bring emphasis to certain words or phrases. In a hip-hop world of imitators and charlatans, his genuine gift made it look easy.
His popularity was because of who he talked to. He talked directly to the audience, not above the audience, and not just, you know, he wasn't just, you're gonna sit there and overly dance to the records that we're making right now like that. He brought back the realism to being an MC and a rapper.
And Biggie, like I said, whether he was on the block hustling or whether he was on the interview or whether he was rapping, he was just so smooth with it. When he would spit or when he would say something, he knew exactly what to say. He knew how you was going to react before you reacted.
Biggie was probably the most visual artist out there. Like, you could close your eyes and see exactly what he was talking about because he painted a picture of it. I just think it was the way he put everything together. Like, he gave you every detail of a story. Like, he'll give you a story from his perspective and from another person's perspective at the same time, whereas most MCs just give you the story from their perspective. Even when he was talking about somebody else, he would give you the perspective of him, and he'd give you the perspective of the person that he's talking about.
You know, he was like a hip-hop Mark Twain. He was really he was a storyteller of his time. And you know, he was universal the way Mark Twain was universal.
If you gave the average MC a record with R. Kelly, right? I'm not even just talking about fucking you tonight. I'm talking about you to be happy, right? R. Kelly's talking about in the record how I want you to be happy even if you're not with me. The average MC would have said something to that effect.
To write a story, you know, have it fit in a certain amount of bars, or to have it fit in a format of a song, especially in that major market where the packaging is just as important as what you're saying.
But he went through the relationship with her. What, you on a veranda with Amanda smoking blunts? You listening to this, he said, she said, telling you what I'm doing? But then she telling you, well, don't tell him I said it. And he's like, well, fuck it, take a word like the Quran. Go on. Y'all stay friends. You stay with that bitch and get your life fucked up. I'ma stay over here smoking out with my niggas. If you break it down and listen to it and say it to yourself, that's incredible because no other MC would have came that way.
It takes a certain level of structure, you know what I'm saying? Like with the story to tell, to be able to say, all right, I'm gonna write the story and I'm gonna have it such that by the end of the story, I'm gonna be able to tell it over again in a way that's not gonna sound redundant or boring, but still be dope and have people flip about the fact that I told the story over again after I kicked it to you in rhyme form, and the rhyme was even more detailed than the way I kicked it at the end, you know what I'm saying?
For me, what Big was, that made him so great was how many people do you know that was rhyming from when he started, even till today, that's not following what he set out there for them, that was smart enough or real enough to talk about themselves. Big is the guy who said that I'm black and ugly as ever, and while we were all thinking, look at this black, ugly motherfucker. And he's like, well, I'm black and ugly as ever. However, I stay coochie down to the socks. And once you say that, you take all the pain away from anybody, anything that anybody can say about you.
But Biggie made up his own street vernacular, you know what I mean? He just came up with his own shit, you know? And then he would say it, and then everybody else would say it.
He know he's fat, you know he's black, you know he got a sleepy eye, and he's telling you that this is me, but still above and beyond that, I'm the best thing that you ever heard. I'm sexy. And you bought into it because this is what he says. He's not like the other rappers, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that, ain't nothing wrong with me. He's saying, look at my faults and still look at what I am and who I can be and how dope I am. And to me, that made him incredible because nobody else had ever done that and nobody does it now.
Biggie, in terms of his flow, the reason why I think it's so contagious is because you have a lot of MCs, they talk about, you know, riding the beat. That what that means is that, you know, they just want to like kind of keep pace with the rhythm, and then there's other MCs that sort of try to create their own rhythm. That if you have a beat, you know, there's a certain set of hits, you know, kicks, snares, and so forth, and people try to fit into the cracks. But nobody really did that better than Biggie. That the way, just something about Biggie's voice and his flow and his rhythm, it was almost like syrup on the track. It just kind of fit into the cracks. And it made it so that there's this thing that happens with Biggie songs where you can't remove Biggie from the beat. He just fits into it so well. And when you take a Biggie beat, if you have anyone else try to rhyme over it, they just can't do it quite the same way.